This is not about Solana. I know every crypto channel is covering Solana today. Forget Solana for a second. Yesterday, XRP did something it has not done in 13 years, and the price ceiling that blocked this token for 3 straight weeks cracked on the exact same day. These two things are the same story. Almost nobody on Twitter is connecting them. So let's break it all down. For 13 years, since 2012, XRP has lived on one network and only one network, the XRP ledger. Think of it as one room with the door closed. You could hold XRP, you could send it, you could trade it, but you could not use it inside the world of decentralized apps. The apps where people lend their crypto for yield, where they provide liquidity and collect trading fees, where most of crypto's money actually lives. For 13 years, that entire world was closed to XRP. Yesterday, the door opened. A version of XRP called Wrapped XRP, WXRP for short, went live on Solana. Solana is the second biggest decentralized finance network in the world. Every single WXRP token is backed one-to-one by a real XRP locked inside a regulated custody vault. The vault is run by a regulated company called Hex Trust. The bridge between the two networks runs on a protocol called LayerZero, and the launch came with $100 million of liquidity on day one. WXRP is already supported by Phantom, the biggest wallet on Solana, and by the 3 largest trading apps on that network, Jupiter Exchange, Meteora, and Titan. Next stops on the list, Ethereum, Optimism, and a chain called Hyper EVM. The isolation is ending in multiple directions at once. Here is what that door actually opens. For the first time, an XRP holder can deposit their coins through WXRP and earn yield inside Solana's lending apps, can trade against the biggest Solana tokens without selling first, can provide liquidity and collect trading fees. These are not small features. This is the entire reason decentralized finance became a $1 trillion market, and until yesterday, none of it was available to anyone holding XRP. Now here is the part nobody on Twitter is connecting. For 3 weeks, XRP kept trying to push above $1.45. 3 separate attempts, 3 rejections. Each time the rally died. Yesterday, the exact same day WXRP went live on Solana, that ceiling finally cracked. XRP is sitting at $1.48 this morning, 3-week high. If I stopped here, you would walk away thinking this is the cleanest bull case in crypto. I am not going to do that, because the ceiling that just broke has a very specific number behind it, and that number is the whole story of the next few weeks. Why did XRP keep getting rejected at $1.45? The answer comes from Glassnode, the main blockchain data firm in crypto. 36.8 billion XRP coins are sitting in wallets that bought at an average price of $1.44. That is 60% of the entire circulating supply of XRP. Picture a wall, not a line on a chart, an actual wall, 36 billion coins thick. Every single coin belongs to a wallet that has been underwater for months. Every holder in that wall is waiting for one thing: to break even, to get out. Every time the price climbed toward $1.44, the wall activated. Holders sold. The rally died. 3 weeks in a row, yesterday the wall cracked for the first time. That is the real news of this week. Now the money tells you if the break is real. The exchange-traded funds, the regulated products that let traditional investors buy XRP through a normal brokerage account, pulled in $119.6 million for the week ending April 11th. That is the strongest weekly number since December. 7 straight days of positive flows. Last time that streak happened was January. At the same time, the shelves are getting empty. The amount of XRP sitting on exchanges available to sell just hit an 8-year low, 1.6 billion tokens, down 57% from the October peak. Fewer coins available means price gets more sensitive to demand. Whale wallets, the ones holding over 10 million coins, have quietly absorbed more than 4 billion XRP since late last year. They are not selling, they are stockpiling. Here is the math nobody on crypto Twitter is running. 36.8 billion coins at a cost basis of $1.44. That is $53 billion of potential sell pressure sitting directly above the current price. The entire market capitalization of XRP is $81 billion, which means the break-even wall is equal to 65% of the whole token's value. And at the best exchange-traded fund inflow pace we have seen since December, $119 million per week, absorbing that entire wall through fund buying alone would take 10 years. 10 years. The wall does not break under ETF pressure. The wall only breaks when price moves fast enough and far enough that the next wave of buyers steps in higher, flipping the wall from a ceiling into a floor. That is why yesterday matters. The first crack in a 10-year wall is always the hardest one. This is the part where I might lose some of you, but I would rather lose viewers than mislead you, because up to this point, every number I have given you points in one direction. Now I have to show you what is fighting against all of it. There is a force pulling on every risk asset in the world right now. Call it gravity. The gravity comes from the Federal Reserve, the group of people in Washington who control borrowing costs across the entire American economy. On April 29th, in 10 days, they announced their next interest rate decision. The betting markets are pricing 99.3% odds of no change. The benchmark rate stays between 3.5% and 3.75%. Why that high? Because inflation reaccelerated. March consumer prices came in at 3.3% compared to the year before. Gasoline jumped more than 12% over 12 months. The Fed is not in a hurry to cut. And oil leads us straight to the most important date on your calendar, not April 29th, April 22nd, 4 days from now. On April 22nd, the ceasefire between the United States and Iran expires. Back in February, the two countries went to war. A barrel of oil jumped from $85 to $113 in a matter of weeks. Crypto crashed. Then a ceasefire was negotiated. Iran opened the Strait of Hormuz. Oil dropped back to $95, and crypto started to recover. Every single positive number I covered in this video is sitting on top of that ceasefire. The ceasefire is a thread. If the deal falls apart in 4 days, oil spikes again, and there is an iron rule in crypto markets. Whenever oil trades above $110 a barrel, crypto sells off, regardless of regulatory news, regardless of fund flows, regardless of adoption. The oil price overrides everything, and here is the hardest truth of the year so far. XRP has moved in the same direction as Bitcoin in every single major swing of 2026. No independent momentum. The token trades the macro story along with everything else. Standard Chartered, one of the biggest banks in the world, just did something uncomfortable last week. Their head of digital asset research, a man named Jeffrey Kendrick, cut his year-end XRP target from $8 down to $2.80. Still nearly 100% upside from where the token trades today, but a major downgrade from a major institution. His reasoning was not the fundamentals. His reasoning was macro. And since January, XRP is down 42% on the year. Bitcoin is down 23%. XRP has been underperforming Bitcoin despite every bullish development we covered in the first half of this video. If you are still with me, good, because this last part is the reason to watch. Everything I have shown you up to now is context. What matters now is the 4 specific things that tell you whether the breakout is real. Signal 1. Wrapped XRP total value locked. It launched yesterday at $100 million on Solana. Watch this number across the next 30 days. If it climbs above 500 million, real DeFi demand for XRP is showing up. If it stalls anywhere near the launch number, it was a headline without a follow-through. Signal 2. The price of XRP versus $1.55. That is where the 100-day moving average sits, a level institutional algorithms watch closely. 3 closes above $1.55 on the daily chart, and the breakout has real legs. A clean rejection at that level, and we are right back inside the range we just climbed out of. Signal 3. Oil price on April 22nd, WTI crude, sits around $95 this morning. If the ceasefire talks collapse before the deadline, oil can retest $113 within days. That is a 15% spike, and history is very clear what 15% oil spikes do to crypto. They close the door on rallies for weeks. Signal 4, the Federal Reserve on April 29th. Everyone already expects a hold. The signal is not in the decision itself. The signal is in the language. Does the statement keep the door open to a cut in June, or does it push easing further into the second half of the year? That one sentence sets the gravity for every crypto asset all the way through summer. The bullish case, wrapped XRP, grows past 500 million in TVL. The ceasefire holds, the Fed stays open to June cuts. ETF flows continue. Under those conditions, Kendrick's $2.80 target is in range by the end of the year. That is his call, not mine. The bearish case, the ceasefire breaks on April 22nd, oil spikes, the Fed stays hawkish, ETF inflows stall, XRP falls back below $1.35 and retests the bottom of the range. You do not need to guess, you need to watch these 4 signals. Here is what actually happened yesterday. For the first time in 13 years, XRP left its home network. And on the same day, a ceiling that blocked the price for 3 straight weeks cracked. The data says the breakout is real. The macro says the breakout is fragile. The next 11 days decide which side wins. Tomorrow we will know one specific thing, whether the volume on wrapped XRP during its first full trading day held up, or whether traders cashed the launch headline and walked away. That number decides everything about Signal 1 from this video. I will have the exact dollar figure, and I will have the first early move in oil heading into the ceasefire deadline. Both land at the same time. The data doesn't lie, and now you know how to read it. This content is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Fundamentals set the destination, macro sets the timing. Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed.